Well, how do you feel? Oh, I know it does, dear. But it's for a good cause. Try not to squirm so much while I take notes. Now, how would you describe the pain you're feeling? Any advice for how to keep it from being overwhelming? And remember, this is for posterity. You? At a loss for words? Oh, it's worse than I thought. Luckily, I'm here to patch you up. Now hold still and quit fidgeting. Ugh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since I uploaded a full-length video, and there's a few reasons for that. Number one is just I haven't had time, and number two, I haven't really had a lot of ambition when I had time. So, I've been in a bit of a Fallout mood lately, so I figured I'd get this one finished. It's been in the works for a little bit now. So, without any further ado, let's get on to the video. Today we're talking about Fallout 3. The first gun we're going to be looking at today is the 10mm pistol, which is the first gun you get in the game. And if you ask me, it bears a striking resemblance to the Magnum Research Desert Eagle with a little bit of HK Mark 23 mixed in. Mark 23 resemblance goes a bit further when you see the suppressed version added in the Operation Anchorage DLC. Both weapons are just absolutely massive, and if you've never had a chance to handle a Desert Eagle, buddy, you're missing out. It's not really practical by any stretch of the imagination, but man, it's fun, especially when you get into bigger calibers. Does not like steel case though. Sadly, neither weapon is offered in 10mm in real life, but the Mark 23 is available in 45 ACP, and the Desert Eagle used to be available as a 41, and you can still get it as a 44 mag, so you can get kinda close as far as having a weapon with absurd amounts of stopping power is concerned. I made a short video on the Chinese assault rifle fairly recently, so I'm not going to spend too terribly much time on it. It's definitely inspired by the AK platform, but it has a handguard and rear sight from the RPD, the barrel, front sight, and gas block from the Israeli Galil, and a wire stock from the AS Vol. Overall, it's a really cool design, and I'd love to own one in real life. It's chambered in 5.56, which the magazine doesn't really match, but it makes sense if the Chinese were to send advanced units to US soil, they'd chamber their weapons in the US mainline service cartridge. Also, I did notice something when I came back to Fallout 3. The AR rifles in Fallout New Vegas are all side charging, and that's because they reused the reload animation from the Chinese assault rifle for the AR pattern rifles in that game. So it was really cool developmental behind the scenes fact. Next up is the R91 assault rifle, which is visually based on the HK-G3. The Fallout franchise is wildly inconsistent with what the mainline US service rifle is supposed to be before the war, but just like in real life, one thing that stays the same is that it's always going to be the 5.56 NATO cartridge. The real G3 is actually chambered in 308, something I found strange when I first played this game. It does slightly less damage than the Chinese assault rifle, but it is more accurate. The Pit DLC adds a new version called the Infiltrator that has a scope but bizarrely no stock, as well as a suppressor. I have no idea where the idea of shooting the rifle with no stock comes from, or why people think it's a good idea, especially with a scope, but it is what it is. Just ask my wife. I don't even like taking a handgun when I investigate weird noises at night. I'd much rather have a good cheek weld, but that's just me. Of course, nothing beats a good shotgun from defense, or at least that's what the old guy at the range tells me as I mag dump into trash while he gives me dirty looks. Anywho, this is the combat shotgun, something most FUDs would still disagree with if I'm being honest. It seems to be based on the Russian PPSH submachine gun, which is a little weird to me that that's the inspiration you choose to take for a shotgun, but whatever. The combat shotgun is almost a dead ringer for the PPSH, with the exception, of course, that it's a 12-gauge shotgun, and the drum magazine seems a little far out along the barrel. I don't think it really functioned like that, but this one does get fixed when the combat shotgun turns in Fallout 4. The lever-action rifle is a Henry rifle, which the originals, including Lincoln's repeater, which I'll get to in a second, having been made in the 1860s. I'll wager most of the rifles we find in the game are more modern replicas, like the ones made by Henry repeating arms today, chambered in 44-40 and 45 Colt, with the rimmed one, not to be confused with 45 ACP, which is what we see in the 1911 and the Tommy gun. The Henry was popular among soldiers during the Civil War, though the government only bought about 1,800 of the things. Many soldiers who used them actually bought them themselves. Compared to other rifles at the time, like the Spencer's rifle, the Henry was fairly fragile, and it couldn't mount a bayonet, which is why the government didn't buy them despite their popularity. This being said, the soldiers liked them because they could shoot fast with a Henry, something that hadn't quite taken off yet on a large scale. It's so strange to think that less than 20 years later, the Maxim machine gun would be invented, and design influences from that gun would be used in Fallout 4 for what is essentially that game's light machine gun. Going back to the Henry, Lincoln's repeater is an actual weapon that actually existed, and was personally given to President Lincoln by Benjamin Henry in hopes the president would formally adopt his rifle. The hunting rifle is a bolt-action rifle that seems to be modeled after the Winchester Model 70, but it rather strangely shoots 32 ACP, which is A, a pistol cartridge, and B, a rather anemic one at that. They had to have meant to chamber this gun in 308, because that's what it's chambered in when we get to New Vegas and Fallout 4, but for some odd reason it shoots 32 in this game. Much like the Survivalist rifle in Fallout New Vegas, the hunting rifle has seen better days, with what appears to be duct tape and wire wrapped around the weapon at various points to hold it together, and the butt pad looks like it's peeling off. I won't lie, I really don't like this gun in this game because of the fact you can't aim down the sights, and it has such a low rate of fire, which very much limits its usefulness. This is the single most improved weapon going forward from this game to New Vegas, in my opinion. Well guys, that about does it for this video. Because Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 have a pretty huge overlap between the weapons sandbox, I highly advise you check out my video on Fallout New Vegas, just in case your favorite weapon wasn't featured in this video. If I still didn't get it, please leave a comment. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.